Hello and welcome to Belfast. This is the UK's Strongest Man 2012. I'm Matt Bell.
And I'm Nick Aldis.
Now, if you want to see some of the biggest dudes in the nation pushing, pulling, throwing and lugging their way to a potential victory, you're in the right place. Now, Nick, you work as a professional wrestler and as an ex-gladiator, so you're big and strong for a living. How does what you do compare to what these guys are all about?
Well, in my career, I've done my fair share of heavy lifting, but heavy lifting really doesn't do these events justice. No, these guys will be performing tasks that mere mortals could only dream of. And here in the shadows of where the Titanic was built, 16 Titans will look to build a legacy as the UK's strongest man.
The first event up is the Shield Walk, and that basically entails a 200 kilogram slab of metal being dragged as far as the contestants can manage. Just to put that in real terms for you, that's all of Girls Aloud, 2 Lenny Henrys, or 1 Brian Blessed. No mean feat, I hope you'll agree. So let's take a look at this year's reigning champion and the man that it's all about, Eddie Hall. Wow. Now, he is the favourite, but let's not forget that this event proves year on year that you cannot count your chickens before they're hatched. There are all sorts of environmental factors at play here. There's the weather, there's their mental stability when they turn up, how they're feeling. Are they sort of sports ready? And of course, a lot of them are training on injury. I really hope they've had their Weetabix and they're fighting fit for today. Before we get stuck into the action, let's take a look at some of the gargantuan brutes from Group A.
Kelvin Gardner from Neath Abbey. Frank Connolly from Woodside, Fife. Nicky Whelan, the Warrior from County Wexford. Tom Shaw, Head on the Wall, Newcastle. Mark Lawson from County Durham. Keith Marr, Silverback from Ireland. Bren Powers from Thornton Cleveland in Lancashire. It's going to be a tough one.
There you go, some really big guys, and they're intimidatingly huge, but actually, I was surprised to find out they're really lovely blokes as well, really easy to talk to.
Absolutely.
Nice guys.
And you know what? They're a real fraternity. There's a real brotherhood amongst these guys, and it's a point that needs to be made. They care about each other, they train together, they travel together, and they really encourage each other through the competition. Zero animosity.
Yeah, they're real athletes, aren't they?
They absolutely are. And while we're talking about athletes, we're in the presence of royalty.
Go on.
His Royal Highness, the Daddy,
It can mean only one man.
Glenn Ross.
Thanks very much, guys. This is it, the UK's Strongest Man, Event 1. What have we got? 200 kilograms of Ultimate Strongman Shield. How do they do it? The guys have basically got to get in, front squat, pick it up, and walk forward, up and down this massive course as long as possible. The record is just over 40 meters from last year. Can anybody do it? We'll soon see.
Well, we certainly will, but first of all, the introductions. Mark Lawson, the 37-year-old from County Durham, is a quarryman, 6 feet and 21 stone. That's 183 and 133 kilograms. He's in the right-hand lane as we look forward. There he is. Now, his opponent on this first run on this first event is Kelvin Gardner. He's 35, just a couple of years younger than Mark Lawson, from Neath Abbey in Wales. 6 feet 2, that's 183 against a 22 stone, 140. So they're pretty well matched. But it'll be interesting to see what technique they use in order to move this 200 kilogram weight down this runway. First of all, you've got to get a good grip on it, because once it touches the ground, you lose contact with it, then that's it. So they've got a time limit of 90 seconds, so this runway offers a great deal of potential, but whether it be realized or not, I don't know. Now look at this, how different is that? Mark Lawson holding that very low. Now that limits him somewhat. I think Gardner, with that higher lift, has now dropped down a little bit. Very, very heavy, of course, over 400 pounds in old money. And Lawson's gone down, so he's over, and so has Gardner. Well, they're around about the 6 metre mark. We'll get a full measurement on that shortly. But that's the target for the rest to follow. And that's the first pairing. There are 4 pairings, of course, 8 in this first heat of the Pool A. There's quite a good crowd here, and families, of course, have accompanied the men here today.
Lane 1.
Keith Marr next up, 31 years old, 6-footer, 118 kilograms. Before we get underway, let's hear what he's got to say for himself. Big competitor.
My name's Keith Marr from County Offaly, Ireland. Well, I'm fairly new to the scene. My first competition was in April 2011. Well, to be honest with you, my goal last October, I said UK's Strongest Man was my goal this year. I've got there. So I'm going to take every day as it comes, because like I'm in a real tough group, like Ed Hall in it, Nicky's in it. Nicky was here last year. There's a couple of Welsh guys, Scottish guys, you know, so I'm only new to the scene, so I'll have to see. I know the events, I know I'll do good on the events, but I have to see, take each day as it comes, you know. My dream is to get to the final. Anything after that is a bonus, like, but we'll see what happens.
Well, certainly, but he has a tough task. He mentioned Eddie Hall. Well, he's the defending champion, and he comes on next. And incidentally, Lawson's distance, 5 metres 5 at 56, and Kelvin Gardner 5.95. So they're the targets then, with Gardner leading with that 5.95. But Ed Hall, the defending champion, 6'3", 1 metre 90, 23.5 stone, 152 kilograms. Been training for strongman for what, for 5 years. He's a married man, a couple of children. The families, as I said, are here. Now, let's see exactly what happens here. Hall is a big fellow, he really is. Look at him on the right. He's got those arm protectors there too, with the chalk, so they can get good purchase on that big weight.
3, 2, 1.
Now then. Eyes closed, deep in concentration. The defending champion on the right of your shot now. Up against Keith Marr. We've heard from him. But this is much better. These two are ahead of Lawson and Gardner by a considerable margin now. And here's the end now. They'll turn now and go back down. Once that weight touches the ground, it's all over. They've got 90 seconds, the target for this. Lots of encouragement. And that's gone down now for Keith Marr. And look at this. Eddie Hall defends his title well already, doesn't he, in this first event of the first day. Short, positive steps, 200 kilograms. And down it goes. So that's by far the lead by both Marr and Hall, and they would go into first and second clearly over Lawson and Gardner already. Well, what about that? Defending champion looks in very good form, doesn't he? Those measurements now being meticulously made, but I can tell you don't need a tape measure to say that this
From Scotland
is a winning distance thus
Powers.
far. Well, let's hear what Bren Powers has got to say about his time here.
My name is Bren Powers, originally from Edinburgh, but I live in Blackpool now. I've been watching Strongman since I was a kid. I went to California in 2007, met all the lads there and decided I needed to have a go at it myself. The best events like the shield carry and the tyre flip normally, but I've come here with a torn bicep. I tore it on a two-man deadlift a few weeks ago. It was the World Team Championships, and mine it's tore a certain percentage of the fibres. I don't know how much. The rest will compensate for it. So. But I mean, like I said, I've only done it a few weeks ago, so it is early days. I have to strap it up tight and hope that it holds. Just glad to be here, really. Just glad to qualify. I just want to enjoy myself. That's about it, really.
Well, Bren, there he is in the left-hand lane as he faces us up against Frank Connolly. Connolly's 46, incidentally, from Woodside in Fife. He's 5'10" and 17 stone, so he's a lightweight, really, amongst this company. But Connolly in the right-hand lane there, against Bren Powers on the left. Bren Powers from Thornton Cleeves in Lancashire, self-employed electrician actually. Now, well, Powers looks to be already in some difficulty, doesn't he, on the nearest tours. Really struggling with his 200 kilogram weight. It's the shape of it and it's the design of it that makes life difficult. And it's gone down, and that really is not a very good performance by Bren. And meanwhile, Frank Connolly continues, and that looks pretty good, but that's gone down. And certainly the lead still by Ed Hall, with Keith Marr in second place. This quite clearly, I mean, they both reached the other end of this course and came back, so that's clear. So the two leading exponents are Marr and Hall, certainly, with Hall in the lead. The tape measure's out. I said the families were here, didn't I?
I'm lucky enough to catch up with reigning UK strongman Eddie Hall. Eddie, how you doing?
Very good, thanks.
It looks like you're undergoing something of a rigorous regime here. I guess this is some kind of stretching, warming up thing?
Well, I was very clever and I brought the wife with me, and she's quite good at getting muscle tears out of my legs and stuff, so she's here working away now.
It must be nice to have a crew with you to support you.
Yeah, definitely. I've got my wife, my mum, my son, so I've got a nice little team with me.
So listen, we've just seen you in the Shield Walk, which you absolutely smashed. You not only did one length, you went back as well. Tell me about your technique. How did you feel it went?
I think it went pretty well. I mean, I was lucky enough to do it last year, and I remembered it absolutely cuts your forearms to shreds. So I really wrapped up my forearms well. And I remember the grip where you have to really get your hands under like that and get it in the palm of your wrist. So I did that and just walked it off. I did what I needed to do.
So, Bren, disappointing showing for you, but I'm guessing with your injury you were expecting that.
I was expecting it. Shield carry is normally my best event. This particular one, though, I can't lock my fingers on it, so I knew it was going to hurt however I did it. So just went and did my best. But
is that why you went for the underhand grip as opposed to the standard kind of grip under the forearms?
Yeah, I felt like that. That's going to do some more damage, I think. I mean, it's hurting quite a bit now, so I think whatever way I was going to go for, I was going to hurt that. So.
Well, I tell you. Nicky Whelan, 28, one of the youngsters, the warrior from County Wexford in Ireland, next up. And a big task, he's 21 stone, 134 kilograms. And he's up against Tom Shaw. And Shaw at 6'5" and 24 stone. Big fella. That's 152 kilograms. Shaw on the right of your shot here from Heading on the Wall, Newcastle. Self-employed drayman, incidentally. Whereas Whelan is a doorman. Now then, let's see what we can do here. This is Shaw.
Come on, Nicky, solid.
On the near side.
Use your grip now, Nicky, come on. All the way to the end, Nicky.
Going quite well.
Come on, have to get the end, Nicky.
Nicky Whelan. Now then, look at the two different approaches. And incidentally, you heard from Eddie Hall there, the technique involved is not just about strength, it's about technique too, and they've both got their forearms. There's a forearm situation here. Well, that's a good one. Well, there you go. So that means that Tom Shaw takes that one from Nicky Whelan, and Shaw turning and going on his way back, and that's not a bad performance actually. That'll be very close to second place. Well, there's the confirmation. Ed Hall 23.60, Keith Marr 17.48, and Tom Shaw just behind him, look, on 17.54. They're the top three, with Nicky Whelan with 13.12 behind him.